Hi, my name is Mark Daly. I'm a lawyer with Immigration and Naturalization Attorneys. The name of this video is 10 things to avoid when you're filing for your green card. It's like one of those Letterman things, you know. So the first thing you want to avoid is misspelling your name. Misspelling your name on an application for a green card can be a real problem because they may think that you're doing something funny or making a fraudulent application. You know, when you're setting up your application, you want to make sure that the name that on that application matches your birth certificate and matches your passport. Now, if your birth certificate and passport have different names on them, which I've seen, then you're going to need to explain that to the Immigration Service on the application so that they understand what actually is going on. And then as soon as possible, you want to clean up that passport so that your name matches your birth certificate. The next thing you want to avoid, number 2, is marriage fraud. Marriage fraud is a very, very serious offense. So when you're filling out your green card, if you've paid someone $10,000 to be your spouse for you, you can expect some severe penalties if they catch you. And if you're the spouse sponsoring, if you're a U.S. citizen spouse or green card holder, the penalties are $250,000 and 5 years in prison. So it's a very, very serious offense. So I would highly recommend not doing marriage fraud. The next thing, number 3, is putting the wrong address on your application. Now, I know this sounds simple and obvious, but the thing is that they get enough of the right addresses wrong anyway. And what happens is you'll send in your application, they'll send you the notice to your interview, you won't show up to the interview, and then they'll put you into deportation proceedings. And then they'll send you the notice on that address for the deportation proceedings. You won't know anything about the deportation and you'll be deported in absentia. I have seen this happen just because the address was wrong. So make sure you get the right address on your application. And if you change your address, make sure you change in an official change of address form. The fourth thing is a criminal record. You want to avoid having a criminal record when you're filing for a green card. So if there's any way that you can get with your criminal lawyer or talk to an immigration lawyer to talk about maybe doing what they call post-conviction relief, which is going back and cleaning up the record, that is going to help you. Now, if you do have a criminal record, it doesn't mean you cannot get a green card, because we are a compassionate and forgiving society. We'll allow you to fill out a waiver sometimes. But if you can get anything, if you can get that criminal record taken care of, believe me, it's going to help you. It's something to be avoided. The fifth thing, avoid hiring a non-lawyer to prepare your application for you. This is a big problem right now. And I know that it's easy for a non-lawyer to say, don't hire attorneys, they're a bunch of rip-offs, they charge too much money. The problem is that there's no way to really get back if a non-lawyer rips you off. It's hard to get back and get your money back. Whereas with an attorney, at least attorney is licensed by the state, and there is a mechanism for disciplining attorneys, and a lot of attorneys have had their bank accounts taken so that they can pay back clients who have been wronged. So if you're going to use someone, don't hire a non-lawyer. And you'll find sometimes the fees are exactly the same. Non-lawyers charge the same as a lawyer. The sixth thing is to avoid hiring a bad lawyer. So you want a good lawyer, do not hire a bad lawyer. That's important. So you want to make sure you check around in your community, check with other friends who've used attorneys, find out who's a good attorney. And also, when you're in the interview with your attorney, ask him the most important questions for you. And if you don't get a good feeling that he's taking the time, he or she cares about your case, you know, pay attention to that. You got to make sure that you get a good lawyer and avoid hiring a bad lawyer. 7, avoid being unprepared for your green card interview. Now, the green card interview, they're going to be coming at you with coercive interrogation techniques. That's what they do at USCIS to bust people for marriage fraud or any type of green card fraud. So a lot of people who have great marriages, real marriages, are unprepared, and it looks like they're faking it. So before you go in, make sure you know what the names of your spouse's parents are, what the name of your spouse's children. Sometimes they can have children from other marriages and they don't live with them. Find out the name, make sure you know the name, addresses for the last 5 years where your spouse has been living, and employment history for 5 years. All of this information is very important. So be prepared. Also, bring your documents that are on the list of documents to bring to the interview and have them organized in a way so that you're not fumbling around and wasting the interviewer's time. If you go in there prepared, you look good, you're going to sail through the interview, you're going to show them respect, and they deserve respect. They're doing a tough job. They meet with a lot of people every day, and the USCIS, in my opinion, really does try to get it right a lot of the time. Number 8, getting in a fight with the interviewer is something to definitely avoid. I've had cases, good cases, where we've gone into the interview and my guy gets offended by the USCIS, you know, those coercive techniques, and they say things like, "I pay your salary." You know, that's a real turnoff to the USCIS interviewer. Or, "How dare you ask that question of me? Of course this is a good marriage." Picking a fight with the interviewer is definitely to be avoided because they have so much power and authority. A lot of the decisions that they make are based on what they call discretion, which means, hey, I think that it wasn't a good marriage. Go ahead, take me up on appeal. That's their attitude. And you don't want to have to be in a situation where you're appealing the decision of a USCIS interviewer. So don't get in a fight with the interviewer. Understand that they might be stressed out, might be having a bad day, and go along with it. Show them some respect and get in and get out of your interview. The 9th thing to avoid when you're filing paperwork for your green card is having a previous deportation. You know, if you've been deported before and you're filing for a green card again, it's going to be a huge red flag that something's wrong. And even if you try to hide it or don't tell them about it, they're going to find out. And you're going to need a waiver, you're going to need some extraordinary type of services if in fact you've actually been deported once before and you want to get a green card again. The 10th and final thing to avoid on your green card application: do not lie on your application. This is so important, okay? I mean, I've got skeletons in my closet that I don't want people to know about, right? But when you're going to the USCIS and you're asking for a green card, you got to let it all hang out. You got to lay your whole life on the line. And I want you to know that if you have criminal past, if you've got maybe a misrepresentation that you made before, you know, they're going to know it. They have these computers now that are linked to all the utility companies. They can know where you've been living, where you've gotten utility bills. They have all the FBI records, international police records. They have it all. And the thing is that a lot of times if you tell the truth, yes, I was busted for shoplifting 10 years ago, that's not even anything to deny your green card for. But if you lie about it, the lie itself is something to deport you for, deny your green card, and make your life really miserable. So that's the real, number 10 is the biggie, lying on your green card application. And you know, if you've got something that you feel that you don't want to tell the immigration about, you've got to get some advice. So I would say if you feel like you want to lie on the application, then you need to hire an attorney to find out what your options are for going forward with that information. So those are the 10 things to avoid when you're getting a green card. My name is Mark Daly, and I wish you a great adventure in immigration. So if you are committed to filling out the green card forms on your own, I would recommend you to a website that I'm hosting. It's called step-by-step-immigrationforms.com. And we have video tutorials that show you the form and go step-by-step, line by line, describing the questions that are being asked and a range of answers. It's not legal advice, of course, but it is a guide talking about the purpose of the forms. And we have all the forms you need for a marriage-based green card. Plus, we also have videos on the interview and procedures. There's one on crimes. There's also one on illegal entry. So I would refer you over there if you're really interested in doing this on your own. And if you are, the best of luck to you.